Anhedonia. So I got this question in my DMs about anhedonia, and I had to Google it because I didn't know what it meant. And it means an inability to feel pleasure. And this person asked me if I had felt and experienced anhedonia during my withdrawal process. And my response was absolutely. I felt the inability to feel pleasure, joy, and happiness, honestly, for most of my 20s when I was medicated, and definitely during the intense first 3 years of my withdrawal experience. I remember specifically a time when I went to see the Pixar movie Inside Out. It must have been in my 20s. My boyfriend, I went with my boyfriend at the time and his friend, and they both cried throughout the movie. And when the movie ended, I hadn't cried at all. And I remember his friend turning to me and being like, "Do you even have a heart?" And I used to be known for being heartless and emotionless, and I just owned it as if it was who I was in those times. But it was really after that experience that I went home and was like, hmm, why didn't I cry? Why don't I feel much at all? And I really started to feel like there was something off there. So I share that story because I was feeling that numbness when I was on medications. And fast forward to withdrawing from benzos abruptly, and I began feeling every emotion under the sun with so much unbearable intensity that it felt manic and out of control and like a roller coaster. And besides intense moments of like quick joy, there was still no real access to pleasure. I feel like the stimulus was too much, that my nervous system couldn't anchor in and stay in pleasure through all of the like chaotic swings of emotions. And it really took a couple years for my body and my mind to regain some semblance of balance, for the GABA, which is the neurotransmitter responsible for calming the nervous system, and for the serotonin, the mood regulating neurotransmitter that regulates anxiety and increases like feelings of happiness. So it took time for the GABA and the serotonin to start to produce themselves again, because Xanax enhances GABA and Zoloft, which I was on in my 20s, enhances serotonin. So these medications replace the body's natural chemical production. And when you stop taking them, the body struggles to produce these chemicals again. And it really takes that time for the body to repair itself, to find homeostasis, and for those neurotransmitters to begin to learn how to produce themselves again in your body. So for me, it was at about year 3.5 that I began to finally feel little moments of pleasure. And it was through practices like embodiment practices, like movement meditation and somatic experiencing, that really helped me reconnect with my body and my pleasure, and feeling safe within my body and safe experiencing pleasure and other emotions. There were practices in the feminine healing arts that I've studied as well that really helped me cultivate this experience of pleasure and ability to feel it and experience it and hold it again. Um, microdosing and mushrooms were helpful in this reconnection to my body, but only when I was grounded mentally and somewhat physically at around year 5. And I wouldn't recommend mushrooms without professional support. I had that, but they were definitely a big part of my journey to feeling again and feeling connected again. And this really is a journey, the experience of withdrawal, of coming back home to yourself and to your body, and your body repairing and finding homeostasis after going into complete shock and being totally thrown off balance in this process. So, just a reminder to be patient and be soft and be compassionate with yourself. Know that if you aren't experiencing pleasure, you aren't feeling it, or if you are feeling ecstatic emotions, like whatever it is, it's possible to come back into a grounded connection and experience of your emotions, and into being able to experience pleasure in your body and in your life again.